There we go, there we go. Yes, by taking care of that one rift, the sun comes back out again.
Move! No, the other way! Yes?
The rage demon in the caves is dead, as you commanded.
I had no doubts. Now that my sovereignty has been respected, I can depart this unchanging night. Your reward. Use it well. Trivial. Rid of that glow in the lake. Will the dead leave us be?
We won't forget the Inquisition help from no one else would, I promise.
Ah, rogue only. That's a crappy amulet. Yeah. Increase the front defense, increase the attack and dexterity, but you cut your flanking damage bonus in half. crap. That's what that is. Yeah, no. Stick with the one I want. Or the one I've got. I don't like the way that one looks. Even if it does increase my armor rating, I don't like the way it looks. Giant yellow face. Fuck that shit.
What do you mean the mayor's gone?
He rode out an hour ago. We spotted him from Byers Field. Didn't even stop the wave. What for? The dead are gone.
Mayor Dedrick's lived here 50 years. He wouldn't abandon us.
He's been acting strange ever since the Inquisitor drained the lake.
It's the first time I've actually listened to all of that conversation. Yeah, so he confesses to killing his
Letter
own
of
people.
confession from the mayor. It says he was the one who flooded Old Crestwood 10 years ago to stop the blight from spreading.
He drowned them. In the muck. Oh, Mayor is having an arrow for tea.
It's monstrous, but if it stopped the blight from wiping out the entire village.
The mayor's racked with guilt. If he hadn't confessed, I doubt we'd have found out.
So it's just warning everybody about the giant dragon that we saw earlier. Okay. So if you come and talk to this sister before you go down to the lake, you get a quest that's easier to complete instead of having to go back. But like I said, that's you go and you're finding dead bodies. Now I want to go here. western approach. That's where I can get my alpha coolback spines. That's kind of what I thought. Then there should be plenty of obsidian around here, so I can become an artificer.
Take you.
So yeah, after we get Logan, we'll go over to the western approach. Take care of all this. Fortunately, Logan's not too far away right now. I haven't seen him since Origins. Actually, no, that's a lie. I haven't seen him since Origin Awakening. He's not as much of a dick in Awakening. Oh crap. We're gonna get Druffalo. We're gonna have Druffalo fighting Snow. No. We're gonna have 2 Druffalo. Here we go. Because I get an advantage when attacking from death from above. Passive ability within 2 meters. If you are at a higher altitude than your enemy, you deal extra damage. Druffalo hide is really good and really useful. There we go. Heal up.
Reinforcements.
Spread all the way in. Stupid Templars. Never really liked you, Vizzy.
Sarah dear, whatever has your scattered mind conjured now?
The knobs in Orlais. They barely like their own kin, and you're a mage.
Your failing, among many, is that you presume I desire approval.
Power does not require that I be liked.
Well, halfway there then.
Here we go, I'm at 14. You can tell it used to be a very nice statue. But now, it's not. The head has fallen. Claim the landmark. Here we go. More obsidian. Oh, that's not what I want. I don't want Embrium. I want obsidian.
That the cave where Hawk's warden friend is squatting.
Glad you made it. I just got here myself. My contact with the wardens should be at the back of the cave.
There was a group of wardens out there hunting a senior warden. They said he was a traitor.
Of course they did. They may even have believed it. How much blood is shed by good men following bad orders?
Yeah, 2 more obsidian. I'll see if they messed up this character model or not. What happened to his hair?
It's just us. I brought the Inquisitor.
Warden Logain Muktia. I believe we have a common cause, Inquisitor.
There was a Logain who joined the Wardens after he lost Ferelden's throne.
The traitor Terran. Yes. I've heard all the names.
Then that's you.
I've been a Warden for 10 years. They will never fully consider me theirs. Something I've had cause to be grateful for recently.
Most of you Wardens disappear. Then I run into a Darkspawn Magister named Corypheus. You think that one might have something to do with the other?
I believe so. After Hawk killed Corypheus, Weishaupt was content to forget the whole affair. If an archdemon can survive seemingly mortal wounds, why not Corypheus? I began to investigate. I found evidence, but no proof. And then, soon after, every warden in Orlais began to hear the calling.
You never told me.
I didn't believe it concerned you.
Is the calling some sort of Grey Warden ritual?
The calling is a portent, like crows circling the battlefield before the fighting. It tells the Warden that his time has come. First are the dreams, and then a voice whispers in the back of the Warden's head, just at the edge of hearing. And that is when the Warden goes down to the deep roads, to die with honor.
And every Grey Warden in Orlais is hearing that right now. They think they're dying.
Yeah. Thanks to Corypheus, I believe. If the Wardens fall, who will stop the next blight? That is what's panicked my brethren.
Thanks to the calling, Corypheus has them scared. And they're playing right into his hands.
Is the calling they're hearing real? Or is Corypheus mimicking it somehow?
I don't know. Even as a senior warden, I knew little about him. The wardens believe it to be real, despite my warnings about Corypheus. That is all that matters at the moment.
You said all the wardens are hearing the calling. Does that include you?
Yes. It's like an itch at the back of my mind. At times, it's barely there at all. But then I find myself starting to hum it under my breath. It is vile. I can understand why so many wardens have gone mad from fear of it.
How can Corypheus make all these wardens hear the calling?
I don't know. It's likely part of his nature. Corypheus is, or was, once a mortal man. The Blight owns him, but it did not create him. Wardens are tied to the Blight through the Darkspawn. That is how Corypheus influences Warden minds. Somehow he is using that power to mimic the calling.
We need the Warden's help. This is the worst possible time for such lunacy.
A Blight nearly destroyed Ferelden. A Blight without Wardens to stop it might well destroy the world. Warden Commander Clarel proposed a ritual involving blood magic. A desperate measure to prevent further blights. When I protested the plan, called it madness, they tried to arrest me. Grey Wardens are gathering here, in the western approach. It's an ancient Tevinter ritual tower. Meet me there, and we will find answers.
Let's go.
So we'll finish up getting the, what do you call it? The obsidian I need, and then we'll go to the western approach. But to be honest, I think that that particular sequence was so much cooler than watching Stroud or Alistair deal with it. Oh, nice. This should finish up the obsidian I need.
Hopefully we'll find some answers.
No, that's only one. What? Only one? Curses. I gotta find another patch of obsidian somewhere. But yeah, I think that particular sequence was so much cooler than the, what do you call it, than having Alistair or Stroud, without a doubt. There's just a level of there was an edge. You know, there's just an edge to the way it went that you don't get in the other plays. There we go. All the obsidian I need. Yeah, it's like Logain's faced down this kind of fear tactic before. Bad morale, and just, he knows this is not where the real threat is. You know? A darkness to the way he approaches it.
The spiderwebs help stop the bleeding, and they prevent wounds from getting infected. Gather as many as you can.
I can keep staring at this, but I won't get any closer.
Keep banging your head against the problem. It'll go away eventually.
I'm predictable, I know. I suppose I'll never find them on my own. We saw so many Red Templars at the assault on Haven. Perhaps all that was left of the Order. What we didn't see was Lord Seeker Lucius. Indeed, I've seen no hint of any Seekers amongst the Red Templars, or anywhere. I have a growing suspicion Corypheus has imprisoned them.
Why imprisoned? He could just as easily have killed them.
Not easily. But yes, they may be dead. But the Seekers began this war against the mages. They cannot have simply vanished. There must be a trail we can follow, yet so far I have only discovered hints.
But they could have ended up just like the Red Templars.
Seekers do not use lyrium. I assume Corypheus gained control of the Templars by corrupting the lyrium they were already taking. To do the same to a Seeker, you'd have to force the lyrium upon him. That may be what happened, but it couldn't have begun that way. We're missing a piece of the puzzle, Inquisitor. I need to find it.
Finding them obviously means a lot to you.
I left the Order, but I can never abandon them. I cannot even claim that rescuing them would be beneficial. They wouldn't look kindly on the Inquisition. But even so, if there's a chance... If we can spare resources to follow up on these leads, Inquisitor, I would appreciate it.
Crestwood has had no further trouble with the undead.
After what happened, it will take time for the village to recover.
Let's see. Yes, improved stability. Do that one using our forces.
At your service.
And what else did Lady Forsythia say? That she'd rather drown herself than help the Inquisition. Anything else? She said she'd have us flogged alive if we allied with her brother.
That does sound like her.
Cheer up, Josie. We at least have her attention.
You always do find the brighter side of things. We are in the midst of cementing an alliance with Lady Forsythia of Navarra, your worship. It's become a somewhat delicate task.
She'll have us flogged alive?
I believe she meant flayed alive. Her ladyship tends to confuse metaphors when she's excitable. I dissuaded her from sending soldiers when she learned we'd struck an accord with a brother she's feuding with. Lady Forsythia simply employs a colorful manner of speech.
Do you always apologize for bloodthirsty nobles?
It's the usual showmanship expected from those in power, Inquisitor. Nothing more. But I confess I do miss my staff from the embassy in Antiva. It was always useful to discuss the day's visitors with them.
I have time, if you'd like to review things with me.
I wouldn't wish to impose.
If it were imposing, I wouldn't have offered.
Well, I admit there are a few potential alliances it would be good to discuss. Right on the parlor floor, in front of everyone at the soiree. Who does such a thing in front of their guests?
The Duke of Kellington, apparently.
And then there's Cole's lurking. It frightens our guests half to death. Lord Jennar still won't respond to our letters. And Sarah, can she not find a single overshirt without mustard stains on it? Then there's Dorian. The man refuses to take anything seriously unless it suits its whim. Not to mention... Oh goodness. Have we been here an hour already?
2.5 hours, I think, but no one's counting.
Oh, dear. I didn't intend to go on for so long. You must think me quite the gossip.
No one else here has your experience, Josephine. Or your stories.
I'll try to curtail their length next time. But I leave feeling less troubled than I have in weeks.
Here we go. So yeah. I'm not even sure if I will romance anybody this time.
Something?
I've read your Tale of the Champion, and I have a few questions.
That's a pretty common reaction. Go ahead.
There is no way Hawk really could have killed the Arishok. It would have started a war with the Qunari.
I was told later that the Qunari disavowed his actions. Apparently, the Arishok didn't get permission before he attacked Kirkwall, and the Qun didn't want another exalted march. When they finally sent a ship to haul the wrecked dreadnought away, they just said, "We will never speak of this again." As far as I can tell, that's the Qun's version of an apology.
Where are the rest of Hawk's associates now?
Merrill decided to look after the elves left homeless by the fighting. She's done a pretty good job of keeping them away from the mages and Templars, so far. I guess she has plenty of practice avoiding stupid human battles with her old Dalish clan. Isabella went back to the Raiders. She's calling herself an admiral now. I don't know if she's actually in charge or just has a really big hat. Might be the same thing, honestly. Sebastian went back to Starkhaven. I'm sure he's boring all sorts of people there. Aveline is still guard captain. I'm pretty sure Kirkwall would fall into the sea if she quit her job.
Oh yeah. Because Fenris is dead. That's why. That's why he didn't say anything about Fenris. Fenris supported the Templars, and we could not reconcile. It was unfortunate.
I told you have Alexius researching magic for you. Research is always what made him happiest. Perhaps I'll even go talk to him eventually. One word of advice. If he suggests altering time as a way to solve all your problems, give it a pass.
I'd like to ask you about Tevinter.
Ah, yes. Everyone outside the Imperium always seems quite fascinated by it. Probably why they come up with so many ridiculous tales. Flying cows over Minrathous. That's madness. All right, that one's actually true, but the cows didn't have wings. I digress. Anything in particular you wanted to know?
It seems strange that an entire empire would be ruled by...
I find it strange that your mages don't rule anything at all. Actually, the fiction in the Imperium is that mages don't rule. The Magisterium rules. That magisters are all mages is considered a convenient technicality.
What is the Magisterium, exactly?
The upper house of the Imperial Senate, and the only part worth having a seat on. Those seats are split among the circles of Magi, the Chantry, and the major families. All majors now. It's odd that out of the Imperium, you use magisters to every Tevinter mage.
You're not a magister, then what do you call? No special...
I'm an Altus, which is almost as good as a magister, depending on who you ask.
I've never heard of an Altus.
Upper class. Those families who trace descent from the Dreamers, the first prophets of the old gods. If you're a mage and you're not Altus, then you're later. Lower class. If you're not a mage at all, you're Soferati. That's everyone else. We do love our fancy words.
I thought the Archon ruled over the Imperium.
Well, yes. Technically, he can overrule laws passed by the Magisterium, but that never happens. Even so, he gets to appoint new magisters, which means all the families vie madly for his favor. Thus, the Archon gets invited to all the parties. The truest path to Tevinter influence, let me tell you.
If it's a fiction, that means mages do rule, then.
Yes and no. Let me put it this way. Mages do rule, but not all mages are equal. If you're not from the right family, chances are you don't rule anything. Maybe you're even a slave. The idea that anyone could be a mage, however, keeps the masses placated.
Can anyone be a mage?
Technically. The potential runs mostly in bloodlines, but it's been known to happen. More importantly, commoners believe it can. Tevinter legend is chock full of mage heroes from humble origins. So they hold out hope. Someday my son or my son's son will be a mage. Someday. Poor sods don't realize that means he'll be a quaestor at the arse end of the 100 Pillars, at best.
Being a quaestor isn't a good thing?
I imagine the average non-mage likes to think so. Counting numbers and shuffling papers all day is better than many occupations after all. If you're a second-class citizen among a pack of piranha, however, your outlook changes.
But let me ask you something else.
Of course.
There's an Imperial Chantry, isn't there? With its own divine?
You people aren't supposed to talk about the Black Divine, are you? If you mention him outside the Imperium, people make that face, like you're urinating in public. But yes, we do have the Chantry, or a version of it. Night and day comparing it to yours.
Is the Imperial Chantry so different from ours?
Not in theory. The main difference is in the whole magic is meant to serve man, not rule over him business. Back home, ruling the unwashed masses is serving them, for the good of the Imperium. Perhaps it started with good intentions, but these days it's academic. The circles are in command.
There are circles of magi in the Imperium?
We don't have dismal little mage prisons, if that's what you mean. They're academies, prestigious ones. We have Templars as well, but they don't cancel spells or whatever your Templars do. They're soldiers. They watch for abuse of magic, yes, but only those who are weak or who fall out of favor get dealt with. Mostly they enforce the Magisterium's edicts. The Chantry smiles and nods from the sidelines.
Do you really call him the Black Divine?
We don't call him that, oh no. In the Imperium, he's the true divine. The woman sitting on the Sunburst throne is some backwater pretender. It all stems from a disagreement over Andraste. Marvelous, isn't it?
Why would they disagree over Andraste?
It's not my field of expertise, but the Imperium believes Andraste was a mortal woman, a mage. Down south, they say, no, she's the bride of the Maker, ascended to his side, divine provenance, a blah, blah, blah. We feel better believing Andraste was one of us. Makes executing her less damning, you see. So we elected a man as divine, the South declared war, and we've been feuding cousins ever since.
So, the Imperial Divine is always a man?
All the better to distinguish him from that other one, yes. Don't think there aren't a number of female magisters who bristle at that. Why can't they be divine after all? Same reason you never see a man on the Sunburst throne. Because that's how it's always been done. Excellent reasoning.
Do you consider yourself Andrastian?
The big question. It might surprise you that I do consider myself Andrastian. I simply do not believe in the Chantry. It is a relic, whether back home or here in the south. Something from a bygone age desperately clinging to relevance. It's not an opinion that makes me popular.
I share your opinion, actually.
That's not surprising, considering what the Inquisition represents. I'll say this. I may not believe in the Chantry, but I believe in you.
In me?
That the Maker sent you, whether through Andraste or fate. Cassandra is not wrong. You saw that in the future, without you, Corypheus prevails. You are our bulwark against evil.
You don't seem like the religious sort, to be honest.
If you define religious as sitting in a chantry and listening to a blithering hen tell you how to live, then no. If you define it as believing in the possibility that something larger than yourself exists, then yes, by all means. The world is bigger than I, even bigger than you. It laughs at all the things we think we know. The Maker doesn't need me to believe, but I do. The thought of no one at all watching out for us is too frightening.
Let me ask you something else.
So many questions.
That's all I want.
I'll ask those later.
Fair enough.
I should go.
Naturally.
Inquisitor?
Anything I should know?
It seems that the Orlesian army is awaiting our next move. Some of the generals are sympathetic to our cause, others are still suspicious. Our actions are under a great deal of scrutiny.
I'll leave you to your work.
You would think that would kill me, but no.
Inquisitor, I've found where the Red Templars come from. They're in full redoubt. The Knights were fed red lyrium until they turned into monsters. Samson took over after their corruption was complete.
How do you know Samson?
He was a Templar in Kirkwall, until he was expelled from the Order. I knew he was an addict, but this... Red lyrium is nothing like the lyrium given by the Chantry. Its power comes with a terrible madness.
Samson's armor was glowing with the stuff. He'll go mad soon enough.
He seemed clear-eyed at Haven. Even so, the deluded commander is no less worrisome. The Red Templars still require lyrium. If we find their source, we can weaken them and their leader.
Where do we begin?
Caravans of red lyrium are being smuggled along trade roads. Investigating them could lead to where it's being mined. If you confront them, be wary. Anything connected to Samson will be well guarded. As leader of the Inquisition, there's something I must tell you.
You're being especially serious today.
I know. Lyrium grants Templars our abilities, but it controls us as well. Those cut off suffer. Some go mad, others die. We have secured a reliable source of lyrium for the Templars here. But I no longer take it.
You stopped?
When I joined the Inquisition. It's been months now.
Months? You didn't think to tell me this sooner?
Has it mattered?
I don't know. Has it?
After what happened in Kirkwall,